Hi, it's Tash. Welcome to Tasha's Library. Today's video is a super exciting one because I am announcing my September readathon, which is called Scientific September. So I thought I'd announce this early, so if anyone does want to join in, you have time to sort yourself out. So this is different from last year's, if you did do last year's. Now the aim of this readathon is just to read more science fiction and science non-fiction. I originally came up with it because I wasn't really reading some of those books because I tend to be a very heavily fantasy-oriented reader. And I still love my fantasy, obviously, and I love my sci-fi. And I just felt like I had all these sci-fi books that sometimes didn't get chosen for whatever reason, just because it was a shiny little fantasy book around. So the way this works is you can pick one of 3 particular career tracks. So if you decide to read just non-fiction, you would be pursuing this researcher track. If you choose to read only science fiction, you can become a philosopher. And if you do a combination of non-fiction science and science fiction, then you're a scholar. Now, the way it's going to happen this year is you're then going to build atoms by hunting electrons. So we just assume that protons are already there because it was going to be too complicated. And I just thought this kind of graphically, this works better. Basically, you're going to build atoms according to how many books you read. So if you read 1 book, you're going to build hydrogen. If you build 2, you're going to build helium. If you read 3, you're going to build lithium, and then beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, and all the way to neon. So a maximum of 10 books, just because that works quite well. Now, you do not need to read 10 books. If you read 1 book, you have fulfilled Scientific September by building hydrogen. Now, in the folder that I'll link below, I will actually have the blank sheets for you to complete your atom. And it does have spaces for 10 different electrons. Obviously, you just fill in the ones that fit your atom according to the atom building cheat sheet, which basically gives you your 10 atoms and their electron configuration. So you can have a look at that. Now, how do you build electrons, you may ask? And the way we do it this year is we select prompts from an electron pool. So you're just going to pick the electrons that appeal to you. Now, I've made it really easy to do this readathon because I have come up with 20 different electrons / prompts. So, and they are fairly broad. So you pretty much can fit any book you want to fit in to this readathon. Once again, the aim is just to read more. So I didn't want to make it overly complicated, but I did want to make it fun. All right, and so you can have a look at, once again, down below in the folder that is linked, I will have all the prompts from the electron pool. And I thought now I would actually go through some of those prompts just to explain what they are and give you a few little suggestions of the types of books that might fit those prompts. All right, so we have Disaster, a book about natural disasters or featuring horror. See how broad they are? Yep. So basically this can be anything to do with like earthquakes, volcanoes, floods, droughts, or it can be any science fiction book that has horror elements to it. So examples would be The Day of the Triffids by John Wyndham, or Dead Silence by S.A. Barnes, and non-fiction could be Krakatoa by Simon Winchester. Contagious. This is a book featuring viruses or pandemics, fairly straightforward, so you can go non-fiction route and read something like I Contain Multitudes by Ed Yong, which is about viruses and bacteria, etc. Or you can go science fiction, Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel, or The Doomsday Book by Connie Willis. Relaxation. This is a cozy or humorous book. These are really easy. These are quite popular at the moment. So you could pick A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. You could pick Red Shirts by John Scalzi, or The Field Guide to Dumb Birds of the Whole Stupid World by Matt Kraft. Clockworthy, a book about time travel. So this can be Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi, beautiful little book. Or The Time Machine by H.G. Wells, if you want a really classic. Or you can read just a book about time in general. And this is About Time by Paul Davies. Spherical is a book about or set on another planet. So you could pick The Martian by Andy Weir, which is set on Mars. Children of Time by Adrian Tchaikovsky, which is set on a planet that we don't know. Or you can go like The Red Planet by Simon Morden, which is a non-fiction book about Mars. Historicity, an alternate history or book about the history of science. So you could pick something like The Man in the High Castle by Philip K. Dick, The Calculating Stars by Mary Robinette Kowal, or Hidden Figures by Margot Lee Shetterly. Spacey, a space opera or a book about astrophysics. So many options here. You could pick A Memory Called Empire by Katie Martine. That's the one I'm hoping to get onto my TBR. Ancillary Justice by Anne Leckie, or a non-fiction, Black Holes by Brian Cox and Jay Forshaw. Mixology, a book featuring romance or about chemistry. See what I did there? Yeah. Anyway, so we can pick something like Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell. This is How You Lose the Time War by Amal El-Mahtar and Max Gladstone. Now, I haven't read either of those. I don't actually really like romance in my fantasy or sci-fi, but I've heard those are quite good. Or you can go the non-fiction chemistry routes and pick The Disappearing Spoon by Sam Keane. Highly, highly recommend this one. Journeying, a book featuring space travel or with a spaceship on the cover. So you could pick Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, or Hyperion by Dan Simmons, which does have a lot of time on the spaceship. Or you can read Packing for Mars by Mary Roach. Brainology, a book about psychology or with a person on the cover, just to make it super broad. So you can read, obviously this will depend on which version of the book you have. You may have a different cover from me, but it's pretty straightforward. You just pick a person. So for me, Station Eternity by Mule Lafferty has a person. Highly recommend that one. It is so good. Empire of Silence by Christopher Ruocchio, really popular at the moment. Also highly recommended. Or The Believing Brain by Michael Shermer. Mathematical. This is a number in the title or a book about mathematics. So many books with numbers in the title. Just two examples. Nine Princes in Amber by Roger Zelazny, highly recommended. The Three-Body Problem by Kixin Liu. Pretty easy to find these though. Or you can go non-fiction, The Life-Changing Magic of Numbers by Bobby Siegel. Kaleidoscope, a color in the title or a book about physics. All Systems Red by Martha Wells. Red Rising by Pierce Brown. There's a lot of colors in them. Or How to Teach Relativity to Your Dog by Chad Orzel. Highly recommend that one. Extraterrestrial, a book with aliens or the search for extraterrestrial life. Rendezvous with Rama by Arthur C. Clarke, if you're looking for a classic. Or Contact by Carl Sagan. Or you can go The Planet Factory by Elizabeth Tasker, which is about the search for exoplanets. Uncertainty, a dystopian or post-apocalyptic book or a book about Earth's future. Heaps of options here with sci-fi. A Canticle for Leibowitz by Walter M. Miller. Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. Or you can go A Life on Our Planet by David Attenborough. Secretive, a book with secret in the title or involving a mystery. So The Seven Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton is a sci-fi with a mystery. Station Eternity, which I have mentioned before because it is awesome, by Mule Lafferty, has a mystery in it. Or you could go The Secret Life of Fungi by Alia Whiteley. There are a lot of non-fiction books with secret in them. Animalia, a book with an animal in the title. Here you can go a normal animal like Dogs of War by Adrian Tchaikovsky. You could go a mythical type of animal like the Kaiju Preservation Society by John Scalzi. or an extinct animal, The Rise and Fall of Dinosaurs by Steve Brusatte, highly recommended. Sparkly, a book with star in the title or about stars, To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini. The Scourge Between Stars by Ness Brown, or From Jars to Stars by Todd Neff. Botanical, a book about plants or with green on the cover, so you could pick Stringers by Chris Panatia. Now my version has green on it, so I'm not sure about yours, but pretty easy to find, just look at your books. Doors of Sleep by Tim Pratt has green, or The Hidden Life of Trees by Peter Wallenburn. Precipitation, my favorites, a book about weather or with a weather-related word in the title. So this could be anything like snow or sky or rain or storm, anything like that. My recommendation here would be Snow Crash by Neil Stevenson. Absolutely brilliant cyberpunk novel if you haven't read it before. Also something like Ball Lightning by Kishin Liu. Or you can go non-fiction with The Cloud Spotter's Guide by Gavin Pretor-Pinney. And finally, Artificiality, a book featuring clones, robots, androids, or about technology. So many here, just a couple options. Mickey 7 by Edward Ashton, For We Are Many by Dennis E. Taylor, the first book in the Bobiverse series. Or you can go non-fiction with Wise Animals, How Technology Has Made Us What We Are by Tom Chatfield. Anyway, that is it. Pretty straightforward, as explained. As I said, all the materials will be in the attached link down below. And this is just fun. Let me know what books you're planning to read, what atom you're hoping to build, and career path, etc. I'm super excited. Yes, later on in the month, I will post my TBR for this. Now I'm going to complicate it because I'm going to play my TBR game, my usual TBR game, and then try and match the books to Scientific September prompts, just because I like a challenge. But you can do it however you like. I'm hoping that it can be enjoyable. As I said, you only need to read one book. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and until I see you next time, take care.